What happens to your organs after 24 hours without food? The food industry has convinced you that 3 meals a day is healthy. When you stop eating food, that's when your body can start repairing and renovating, a magical process that has miraculous benefits to several organs. From immediate metabolic recalibration in your liver to targeted tissue repair in your heart and brain at hour 24, your body treats a fast as a signal to upgrade its systems. Hi, I'm a scientist, and today I'm taking you through a full 24 hours without food, stage by stage, to show you exactly what's happening inside you. Some of it will sound impossible. All of it is backed by real research. Hour 0. Storage mode. It's 9 p.m., you just finished dinner. You wash the dishes, watch a little TV, brush your teeth, and go to bed. Nothing about that night feels unusual. But the second that last bite hits your stomach, a hormone called insulin floods your bloodstream with one single order. Grab this fuel and get it into storage right now. Picture your liver as a warehouse with shelves that fill up fast, and insulin as the manager rushing to stock every last one, packing incoming sugar away as glycogen. Shelves get stocked. Nothing dramatic. You'd never guess anything was happening at all. But it is. And by hour 4, the story changes. Hour 4. The warehouse opens the back door. Deliveries have stopped coming in, which means no more food. Insulin starts falling, and a completely different hormone steps onto the floor, glucagon. Its job is the exact opposite of insulin's. Instead of stocking shelves, it starts tearing them down, shipping stored sugar back out into your bloodstream to keep the rest of your body running. You're probably still sleeping, but behind the scenes, your liver just flipped from receiving mode into distribution mode, and it did it without asking your permission. Your body is a magical system that knows how to make sure your organs get enough glucose to function even when you are sleeping and not eating. But now, it gets even more interesting. Hour 8. The first hunger wave. Now you'll probably feel it. A little foggy, maybe irritable, harder to concentrate on whatever's in front of you. This is exactly the point where people start assuming something's gone wrong. It hasn't. That hunger you're feeling is mostly your body's internal alarm clock going off, trained by years of eating at the same times, not a genuine emergency. Sit with it for 20 or 30 minutes, and for most people, it fades on its own. But your liver has a real problem now. It's running out of stored fuel. The shelves that were fully stocked 8 hours ago are almost bare. And the solution your body comes up with next is something it's been quietly capable of your entire life without you ever noticing. If you continue to fast, the real shift is what happens next, and almost nobody talks about it. Hour 12. The metabolic switch. Your liver stops managing sugar completely and starts managing fat instead. Fat cells across your body begin releasing their stored energy, and your liver converts a portion of it into molecules called ketones, the exact fuel people chase on ketogenic diets. Except here, nothing you ate triggered it. Time triggered it. Research measuring ketones in the blood during a fast has found they start climbing noticeably right around this window and keep rising well past the 24-hour mark. Here's the part that catches people off guard. You'd expect your brain, which almost always insists on running purely on sugar, to start struggling right about now. Instead, many people report the opposite: sharper focus, less of an afternoon crash. That's because your brain is fully capable of running on these ketones instead, and this metabolic switch may be exactly why some people feel unusually clear-headed partway through a fast instead of foggy the way they braced for. You think mental fog is coming. For a lot of people, it's the opposite that shows up, and your liver isn't the only thing changing at this stage. Your gut is doing something that sounds completely backward. Normally, the lining of your intestines is rebuilding itself constantly, cell by cell, a non-stop construction project running every single day of your life. You'd expect it to work even harder when stressed by lack of food. Instead, it does the opposite. It goes quiet. Scientists at MIT and the Whitehead Institute wanted to know why. What they found was strange enough to make headlines in the research world. Your gut's stem cells don't just sit around passively waiting for food to come back. They switch fuel sources entirely, from burning carbohydrates to burning fat, the same switch your liver just made. Think about that for a second. Cells that had spent their entire life burning sugar suddenly decided they'd rather burn fat instead. And that's where things get really interesting. In mice, researchers found that this fasting-triggered switch didn't just change what the cells were burning. It appeared to restore some of their regenerative ability, especially in older mice, whose gut stem cells had lost some of that capacity with age. A quiet gut wasn't an idle gut. It was a gut using the silence to retool itself, the way a factory floor gets repainted and re-equipped on the one day a month it isn't running at full speed. Scientists have a name for this kind of cellular housekeeping, autophagy, and it isn't limited to the gut. It shows up throughout the body as a cleanup and recycling system, clearing out damaged material so healthier material can take its place. The next part about fasting will surprise you. Hour 18, muscle protection mode. This is where a gland most people have never thought about, sitting quietly at the base of your brain, does something almost unbelievable. Your pituitary gland starts pumping out far more growth hormone than usual. A well-known study from the late 1980s caught this happening, drawing blood every few minutes from healthy adults across a multi-day fast just to track the hormone's naturally erratic release. Even within the first day, growth hormone secretion rose measurably compared to a normal fed day, and it kept climbing the longer the fast continued. A more recent trial pushed further, putting people through a single 24-hour water-only fast on one day and a normal eating day on another, then comparing their blood work side by side. Growth hormone rose sharply by the end of the fasting day, and here's the detail that caught the researchers themselves off guard. The rise had nothing to do with how much weight anyone lost. It showed up as a direct response to the fast itself, independent of the number on the scale. You think fasting means your body is breaking down. At exactly this stage, it's doing the opposite. It's building a defense. Growth hormone encourages fat cells to release more of their stored energy, handing your body an alternative fuel source, and in doing so, it appears to shield muscle tissue from being broken down for fuel while everything else scrambles for energy. Your body isn't just surviving hour 18. It's actively protecting the muscle you'll need once the fast is over. This is also usually when your kidneys start acting strange, and it's the part people notice the most, even if they have no idea why. You're going to the bathroom more. Standing up too fast makes you lightheaded. Most people jump straight to one conclusion: I must be getting dangerously dehydrated. In most cases, that's not actually what's happening. The same 24-hour water-only fasting study found people released noticeably more sodium through their kidneys over the course of the fast, a process called natriuresis. Falling insulin levels signal your kidneys to loosen their grip on sodium, and that sodium pulls some water along with it. This is a genuine, measurable shift in kidney behavior, hour by hour, not the dehydration people picture, and it's part of why hydration and electrolytes matter more on a fasting day than most people assume. You think you're dehydrated. You're probably just experiencing your kidneys doing exactly what falling insulin told them to do. Your immune system appears to shift too, around this same stretch, with changes in circulating white blood cells and inflammation-related signals showing up during a fast. Researchers suspect it may be connected to that same cellular cleanup happening elsewhere in the body, but this is newer, less settled ground. Scientists are still working out how much of it is a genuine long-term benefit versus a short-term stress response that simply looks similar on paper. Hold this one more loosely than the liver and pituitary findings, which rest on decades of consistent evidence. Hour 24, deep repair. This is where it gets genuinely strange, in the best possible way. Some research on intermittent fasting has found increases in a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which helps brain cells survive and helps new connections form between them. Part of this effect appears to travel through your gut, since certain molecules produced by gut bacteria during a fast can cross into the bloodstream and send signals all the way to the brain. Your gut quietly rebuilding itself and your brain forming new connections might not be two separate stories at all. They might be the same story, playing out in two different rooms of the same building. You think nothing good could come from a day without food. Some people wake up on day 2 feeling surprisingly good, and this may be part of why. Here's the truth most conversations about fasting completely miss. People assume the benefit comes from how long you can white-knuckle through hunger, as if the reward only shows up for whoever suffers the longest. But nothing you just walked through happened because anyone was tough. Your liver didn't wait for you to prove something before switching to ketones. Your gut didn't reward willpower before starting repairs. Every single one of these systems was simply following its own internal clock, doing the job it's been doing for as long as humans have gone without food, which is most of human history. How you end the fast matters just as much as the fast itself. Break it with something high in sugar or heavily processed, and insulin spikes almost instantly, telling every one of these systems to switch back into storage mode before they've finished what they were doing. A meal built around protein tends to feel gentler, though that comes down to comfort more than a strict rule. And one thing matters more than any of the science. A full day without food isn't the right experiment for everyone. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, managing blood sugar, taking medication, or have any history of disordered eating, this is a conversation to have with a doctor first, not something to try alone. This is meant to be educational, not medical advice. Your liver isn't waiting for a detox tea. Your gut isn't waiting for a supplement. Your brain isn't waiting for a biohack. These systems have existed for millions of years, quietly capable of all of this the entire time. They just needed enough uninterrupted quiet to get to work. So tell me honestly, which stage surprised you the most? Hour 12, when your liver quietly switches to burning fat? Hour 18, when a gland you never think about starts protecting your muscle? Or the idea that your gut has been rebuilding itself this whole time, waiting for a door to open? Let me know in the comments.